of our previous episode of 76 Saturday. Um, the previous one had quite a few technical issues, so we're going to just go ahead and redo it. Um, of course, as always, I'm the LeBaron. Unfortunately, we are not joined by Mrs. New Vegas today. She is currently at work. Um, we're going to go ahead, throw out a tweet real quick, and then we will be back. Alright. Tweet is away. Sorry about the small pause there. I cannot type and talk at the same time. I've never been able to do anything like that. I either end up typing when I'm talking or talking when I'm typing, and I don't want that. But, anywho, we're good. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the Atom Shop, see if there's anything. Anything that any of us... I thought the Tercentennial cap was in that pack only. Oh shit, a Nixtube clock? That is cool. And it's free. Oh, go ahead and get that. Alright. So yeah, it's definitely worth checking out the store every now and then. We're going to go ahead and jump in right now. So, today's episode, we had an issue with last week, and that's what we're going to just go ahead and redo as that particular episode. It was based on the world. The U.S., China, Great War, other aspects like that. So as most of us know, hold on, I've gotten a message. Okay. But so as most of us know, Fallout timeline actually follows our own quite a ways, and that's pretty much until like 1945. 1945 is, of course, when the end of World War II happens. We never noticed that? Is that... I have had to have been up there before. Oh, hit that a little early. That's alright. Yeah, Flatwoods. Okay, I've just never paid any real attention to that. But in 1945, World War II. What's up, Kristen? Yeah, sorry. I've got other streams I've got to do today, so I just needed to get this one done. But, you know, c'est la vie. But so in 1945, the bombs still fall. Japan is still nuked. So that doesn't really change for us, like, at all. There was a few things that, like, happened prior to that. And you may see me stop every now and then. And it's... what I'm trying to think... Wow, your internet's been down for an hour and a half at work. That is some shit, sis. Somebody is slamming away at something in my hallway. Hold on. I thought they were just vacuuming, but that's not the sound of a vacuum. They must be downstairs now. I can just hear them bashing against the door. Like, fuck. But, so, the bombs fall, 1945, and we're still fucked up. There are some things that do happen. So I didn't want to do that. There are some things that happen that are slightly different. That are prior to that, like we did have, I think it was like in the 17 or 1800s. That's when the Shogun that you find in the mothership Zeta, like he was abducted in that point in time. But for the most part, up till then, we're the same. Yeah. Like, it was just, I could hear it, and it sounded like, oh, I can make the explosive bait now, thank God. I will make it so it's made.
Great, you've got yourself some gross, meat-covered explosives.
Oh, I thought it was...
Well, use your imagination. Trappers are dead. Any hungry carnivore is sure to be drawn in by the smell of fresh meat. So this one-time Chuck, he was the guy who came up with this crazy idea. He laid out explosive bait along the trail after a raid. Then, when the responders came looking for us with their tracking dogs, well, let's just say the hounds lost their scent. You know, because their heads were blown off. Whatever. Get what I'm saying. I don't care what you use your bait on. Just use it to kill some things that would kill and eat you. Let me know how it works for you.
Okay, cool. Cool. But yeah, so most of the world stayed the same. Now, one of the huge differences, and this is really what makes the Fallout universe, it's not nukes, it's not nuclear energy, it has nothing to do with nuclear power in any form or fashion. The main defining feature of the Fallout universe is their lack of microtechnology. They couldn't make their technology smaller, which is what we did. Like, we were able to make technology smaller, and it is what allowed us to advance. All right, so that's what helped us, is that we were able to make our technology smaller. Because they didn't do that, their technology stayed big. That's why all their cars are like these full-length sedans. Their trucks are fucking the picker trucks, picker up. I can't remember. They actually have names to them. But the pickup trucks, all of it is huge, for the simple reason they couldn't figure out how to make it smaller. I'm actually gonna go ahead and use that explosive bait. Do I throw it like a grenade? I guess I do. I know a bunch of mongrels live over here. I can actually see them. Oh. Look at that shit. He's gonna die. Boom!
Let's hear it for brutal efficiency. Yeah!
Alright, let's go clear the rest of them out.
Mind picking shrapnel out of their quarries. As cruel as the trappers were, the diehards were the exact opposite. Don't let their name fool you. We called them that because their stubborn asses refused to give up their dignity and couldn't bear to commit
go. Approach a Deathclaw and make friends? What the hell does that even mean? Alright, well, we're not doing that. Not even a little. But anywho, back on topic. So, our world was mostly changed by that one fact. That, the U.S. couldn't make stuff small enough. We just couldn't. And I'm sure we tried. Hold on. Give me just 1 second. I have a little parenting to do. Alright, I am back. Alright, anywho. So they couldn't make their technology any smaller, which resulted in a couple of different progressions forward. One, everything was big, which meant that everything, and I mean everything, needed copious amounts of resources. Like, you know, it just, the things that we had started to shrink down to like conserve resources, such as like gasoline, oil, those kind of things. That wasn't a thing for them. They were just like, whatever, kept going. The next issue that you run into is that there's only a small finite amount of resources anyway, and now the entire world, nobody is progressing. Everybody's using the same. So like everybody has the same few not trying to think of the proper wording for it. But essentially everybody is using the same technology, so nobody's advancing. So we've just got a ton of people in the world right now who are just eating away at the resources. Then what you have is you have those people fighting over those resources, which is also not good. As they fight over these resources, they spend more resources to fight for the resources that they want. So, you know, you're wasting 500 gallons of fuel in a tank so that you can, you know, get over there and kick the shit out of Bob so you can take Bob's fuel. But by the time you get over to Bob's, he's only got 1,000. So half of what you have, like, procured is already gone. Because he, you know, I have a lot of random shit, don't I? But half of what you've taken from Bob is already gone because you've spent that in your war effort. And this, of course, made people even more aggressive. And then it just became a cycle. People were just getting by the season pass. I'm not sure. who was this rando? I don't know. Where's this guy at? I'm super untrusting of, like, pretty much everybody. But anywho, you get all these, like, people fighting over resources, and that just makes the situation worse. I have declined Kakarot. I apologize, but I don't. Yeah, I'm like a few pounds overweight. But, so then we start to fight more. Other countries that are fighting as well, so things like the European Commonwealth, which is what our actual EU would be, and this was made pre-Brexit, so I do believe that the UK is part of the European Commonwealth. So we have the European Commonwealth. They're fighting for resources. We have China. They want resources. We have the U.S. We want resources. Everybody wants resources. It kind of reaches a head when the UK the European Commonwealth and the Middle East begin to fight over resources. And I mean, like, legitimately fight over resources. Oh, man. Should have gotten one of those. I'd make this guy right here. That just looks cool. Anywho. So they begin to fight over resources. And, I mean, they're really fighting over resources. And I believe that was where the first nukes were used. Between the European Commonwealth and the Middle East. Now, they use the vague Middle East. They don't ever commit to a name. But it's probably safe to assume that that particular Middle East is probably around the Afghanistan, Iraq area. Like, if we're going to be real with ourselves. But so we have the Middle East fighting the EU, or the European Commonwealth. Sorry. On top of that, China starts trying to fight for resources as well. China, of course, being a very large entity on its own, it starts to fight with its neighbors. So the European Commonwealth, the Middle East, India, I would say Russia, but I'm not 100% because Russia is not really mentioned much. Not enough for us to draw any, like, solid or, like, you know, valuable conclusions from. But we have this conflict that starts, and we, the U.S., are of course worried. And I mean, it's a very common thing to be worried about something like that. Yeah, actually, I can go ahead and get rid of this first page of polls and switch it over to next week's episode solely because that has already concluded. Um, but so America kind of starts being more aggressive than normal, which is, it's really fucking saying something, because as a country we're pretty damn aggressive as it is. And that's in the real world and in the game world. Now, part of the issue we run into with Fallout's world is that there was nobody really to stop us. The US said, this is going to be a thing, I'm doing this, what are you going to do about it? And we decided to march through Canada into Alaska so that we could fortify our military bases in Alaska. Now, there we go. Now, the military base we had in Alaska was guarding like oil, so it was an oil pipeline, and that's that's something we have right now. We have an oil pipeline that leads into this country, and it is very well protected. Even though a lot of people disagree with it, that's not really what we're here to discuss. So, but we have this oil pipeline that's leading into America that is sending all of the oil from Alaska to us. We start fortifying, and I mean we're really not having anybody's shit when it comes to protecting our supply lines. We're not even really being friendly about it in any form or fashion, because I'll go ahead and sell that. We're really not even being like nice about it, because we're being hyper aggressive with our neighbors, which would be Canada. Now, Canada does not want us there. They've expressed clear intent that they do not want the U.S. to go through Canada. And I mean, I can't blame them. We are essentially invading their country, so that way we can easily get to one of our states. We don't care. They are like, hey, yo, get out of Canada, get out of here in general. We don't want you here. We want you guys gone. We don't give a shit. We push back quite aggressively, to the point that we actually get Canada to allow us to transport troops and other supplies through Canada. So Canada kind of gives up on their fight to keep us out. And it is a bit of a shame, because we're dicks. We did just like push them out of their own place, and so we push through Canada, and Canada stops arguing, stops fighting about it. But then we don't stop. We don't stop at just pushing Canada out of own country, essentially. We're pushing them away from the corner where we're cutting through. Um, we take it a step further and we start to strip mine our there's an actual technical term for it. It has to do with like not mining, but oh, what is the name of that? I feel like the word mining is actually in there. It might be called surface mining. And you surface mine. I want to say, you know what? I want to say it is surface mine, because I want to say that surface mining. For all of you nerds out there, you're gonna enjoy this. Surface mining is what Saruman the White did in Isengard in the Lord of the Rings. There's a fucking Scorch just chilling there. I missed. Did they kill everybody over here, or are they just... I'm just a bad shot. Okay. He's not even sure where that came from, but he knows he was tagged. Oh. Whoa. Scorched Berserker. But so, so we started to just, cut our way across, like, the Canadian landscape. We did not give two shits. We were like, hey, we need lumber for this, we need this for this. We just kind of started to do whatever we felt like. Not an abnormal American thing, mind you, but definitely not the right answer. So we cut swaths of Canada away. Canada fights back more. Canada's like, yo, fucking knock it off. Of course, being the good old US of A, we're like, who the fuck are you to tell us what to do in your country? And we kind of just ignored them to the point that we were actually able to force them to surrender, and they joined Canada, or they joined America. Like that's where them being annexed came from. Like, we literally were just like, yo, like, you guys are kind of in the way. We need to get to a thing. So, sorry, but we need your shit. And we did. We just took it. Like, they couldn't really fight us. They didn't really want to fight us, which also worked out in our favor. So we just took their shit. Because we're kind of assholes. But anywho, so we took over parts of Canada. I say parts of Canada. We took over all of Canada. We were almost as, it's a hard sell, but I'd say we were actually probably worse to Mexico than we were to Canada, because the Mexican government had a national emergency happen. An earthquake hit Mexico, devastated it. I believe it was actually Mexico City, explicitly. But hit Mexico City, devastated it. Country was reeling. Everybody was panicking. You know, people didn't know where their loved ones were at. People were missing. Like, you know, it was terrible. And so what we did was we stepped in and we were like, hey, like, look at Mexico. Look at the state of Mexico right this second, everybody. And, you know, of course, the world looks. And we're like, they can't protect their oil. They can't protect themselves. They can't do anything for anyone right now. And we had oil fields in Texas. They had dried up. They were done. Then we wanted Mexico's, and this tragedy just happened to like we wanted it, and we were going to get it one way or another. That's pretty much what it amounts to. I give it a second. I usually walk, and it usually kicks me back. I might do it anyway. But so we, you know, we used this national tragedy as an excuse to go into their country. And we did. We went into Mexico with the U.S. Army. And we actually physically took control of all, like, all Mexican oil rigs. Like, the ones that were offshore, the ones on land. We took all of them over. We did not assist Mexico in rebuilding. We just kinda stomped in and took their shit.
Today, security status is red. Please take appropriate precautions.
But so yeah, we just kind of stomped in and took their shit. They really couldn't stop us, which, you know, that's an unfortunate thing for them. But nothing that could be done about it afterwards. And everybody was so... Okay. Alright. Said security status was red. And somebody has come through here and murdered Protectatrons. And then there's a Mr. Gutsy over there, like laying face down. So, there is a sociopath around here somewhere.
Little sailor.
But anywho, we just kind of stomped in. We took what we wanted. We didn't really give a shit about anybody besides ourselves, and we were terrible. Like, we were terrible to Mexico. I wish I could have a positive spin to this, but there was none. We went in, we took their resources, and that was it. We offered no assistance to... Oh, God. Somebody could be that guy right there. No, because they're not still aggressive. Usually if you do some horseshit like that, they're still hyper-aggressive. But, anywho, we fucked up Mexico and then we left it. We didn't give a shit enough to stay around to pretend like we were going to help Mexico out. And, you know, we essentially controlled all of North America. We had Mexico, we had Canada, we had the U.S. and all of its outlying islands. Like, there was pretty much no one anywhere that could fuck with us. And then here comes China. We don't hear much about what China did prior to the Great War. We know that they were a communist country. So that's, that's one of those no surprise kind of things. But we just don't get any more information on them. Like, they existed. Cool. So we don't know what state China was in prior to the Great War. I think it would be a really interesting thing to visit. But we've not had any hints that that's going to be a thing. And I'll be honest, I don't believe it'll ever be a thing. I genuinely think that we're going to stay in the U.S. exclusively. I would love to see other places, but right now, not looking like a thing that's going to happen. Anywho, I think I've got more of those to sell, actually. Is it under 8? I think it's under 8. But, so we just kind of dick around in all of America. We just own it now. And we still have this warped sense of, like, idealistic America. But we go a step further with, like, getting ready to fight against China. Like, we understand that this war is coming. It's not even so much that it's like, oh yeah, it's an inevitable thing. More that it is like, we, hold on. Sorry, I could just hear her, like, saying my name from, like, the other room. Daddy, 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 daddy. She's still doing it. Like, I asked her what was up, and she just, like, stopped talking. Anywho. Alright, so she came back out here. She had something to say. Kids, man. Kids are weird. But anywho. So we start gearing up for a fight against China. And this fight against China... we know will be rough. But we kinda sorta don't care. And then, as we've seen in 76, we actually have a lot of people who believe, like, or they don't believe, they're rather unhappy with the fact that there are so many so many automated systems. And to a degree, you can understand that. Nobody wants to be replaced by a robot. Like, nobody. Unfortunately, it looks like in this particular area, that was still a thing. That wasn't going to change. But, so let's try to get rid of all the stuff we're not going to use. Anything that does not have a condition will just be thrown in the box. Ooh, I have so few stim packs. But so our war starts off pretty hard. It comes pretty fast. We have... Actually, we're going to go up to the train station here, because it'll be cheaper than traveling down there and then up to it. But we have a split. You know, a lot of the higher-ups of America, you know, a lot of your executives and things like that, do believe that automation is the way to go. It saves on labor, it saves on this. Now, personally, I believe it would use more resources to operate, you know, a Mr. Handy than to have fucking Joe Schmo out there. But, you know, you also have to pay for Joe Schmo, and if he gets hurt, you have to pay for him to, like, pay for his medicals. So I could see the like and dislike on both sides. But that American pride, that's really what is selling America into a war and keeping them moderately content. Because if we think about it, like, the U.S. kind of has that mentality of, like, these are my enemies, and I'll teach them a lesson. It's very reminiscent of in the real world post 9/11. Like, post 9/11 USA was not a good place. Like, I mean, it felt like we had come together for the first time in a long time as a community. Like, everybody seemed to have, like, everybody's back, unless you were Middle Eastern, which, because that's where all the blame went. It didn't go to you know, proper groups. It was like, if you're Middle Eastern, boom, your fault. And I feel like there was probably, because we don't see a lot of Chinese citizens here in the U.S., so I would not be surprised if we had that same sort of mentality for like, you know, pre-war pre-war U.S. Now there were some other, like, there are some other differences. There are small ones that don't really have a huge impact on things like that. Like, the U.S., instead of being like 50 states, it's 13 commonwealths that are constructed, you know, of multiple states. So we do have some differences that are.
Dangerous to go in through.
Did I get fucking shot just then?
Just dangerous out there. So stock up.
Huh. Okay. Weird. But so I feel like, you know, it was a pretty turbulent time for like the world leading up to it. Now, of course, this is where we get into the parts that we know, where the world diverged. We do have that guy down, that guy down, that, and that, and that, and I actually got rid of a lot of my weight. I hear fucking shooting. But anywho, so we do have a lot of like God damn, I've got a lot of that shit. Oh no, I like that one. This is one I like. So we have a lot of like American pride fueling bad choices, and we're kind of made of bad choices if we're gonna be real. So we start to help build up this war machine. We don't even really seem to have any fucks to give about people who might have accidentally gotten caught in the you know, in the middle, because I can bet money that anybody who, you know, was somebody who had not done anything but happened to be of like Chinese descent, they were probably persecuted. The same thing happened in real life during World War II in the United States. Everybody who was of Japanese or German descent, boom, concentration camps in America for you. Of course, we didn't call them concentration camps. That would make us seem too much like the enemy. We're not about that. Sell that. But we have a really, like, it's like a powder keg. Every side is part of the problem. Every side is worrisome. Every side will cause an issue if given the chance, because they distrust the other side. So it's not even like, oh yeah, it was these guys, it was these guys. Like, it's everybody. We're a terrible world. What? He is a flower, yeah. I saw. But so, like, we are super close to just killing each other because we can. Like, that's, like, in essence, that's what it amounts to. It's a because we can scenario. And it's not a good one. Like, at all. It's actually probably one of the worst situations that we can come across. Because everybody hates everybody, and since everybody hates everybody, everybody's aggressive towards everybody. So we don't ever have, like, good moments. It's just not a thing. There are some moments here and there that are not as bad as others, but, like, on the whole, most things are pretty shitty. Let's see, let's go ahead and take 2 of those guys. But then, so, that we've talked about the U.S., we've talked about it taking over China, or it taking over Canada, and it like using a natural disaster in Mexico to take their oil.
Please don't stab other customers.
And
They shop.
like it's just a super terrible world. Like there's really no part of it that was good as this stuff was going on.
No. to
It
the
definitely could have
door.
been worse, I guess, if we're gonna try to find a positive spin on it. Could have been
Acceptable
worse.
tender here.
But so enough about the U.S. So we did also we touched a little on China because China was a key player
Responsible for
in
your
this.
safety or the
But
safety of goods purchased.
China really does not get talked about a lot. Outside of, like the standard stuff of like China sucks. Now we've seen that China has infiltrated the United States several times throughout the series. Even if you only started with 76 or Fallout 3, I almost said 76. Even if you only started with Fallout 3, you will find that in 3, we find what was his? I can't remember his name. He was in Point Lookout. He was a Chinese spy that had been captured and taken to
Available in exchange for pillage, loot, loot.
he'd been taken to like essentially like a concentration, or not a concentration, like a black site camp, where they tried to force him to tell them what he knew. It did not seem like it worked. We'll go ahead and drop these guys. I'm not going to eat those.
Don't want to haul it back yourself. Sell it here.
In a way, we're keeping diluted. Let's sell 17. We'll drop us down to I can't. We'll sell 7 so we can get a nice even number.
Any attempted five-finger
But
will be reclaimed.
so they had infiltrated America seemingly pretty easy because there's a lot of Chinese like units in America. It gives a bonus to XP. Okay. What, my love? I can't right now. Sometimes she's cute. Sometimes she ain't.
Dangerous to go alone.
Anywho.
Dangerous to go in. It's just dangerous
So
out there. So stock up here.
let's see. There we go. You can hear somebody running around me, and I don't like it. But so okay. But so China or America has been invaded by Chinese. We see them. Actually, there's even Chinese in here, and I know there was the invasion that happened in Anchorage, but I classify that like separately for the simple fact that Anchorage was a military action, 100%. It was a military invasion of the U.S. And The problem we have with these other ones is it doesn't seem quite like they were a military invasion, because it doesn't seem like they have like units. Well, we'll worry about that later then, because it doesn't so much seem like they have like units here as there is just individual Chinese units. And let's see, 3-string disease +5 +2. Okay, so we're getting 7 XP. Oop, wrong button. Double wrong button. This is the one I want. Take inspirational off there. Slap Lone Wanderer on there. I'll just be out of point. That's fine. Nope, not happening. But so, like, we have Chinese even here, and this is supposed to be, I believe, 25 years after the bombs have fallen. And then we still have Chinese who, they are out here. Like, 100% they're out here. They are going through, like, the Appalachian, like, wilderness. Me and Mrs. New Vegas, we've actually killed a couple that were Chinese officers. They seem to have like codes for the nuclear silos, and that is of course not good. How they got them, that's a different question for a different time. Something is not happy about me being here. What the fuck? I'm sorry, dude. I'm sorry. I didn't know what even fucking around over here, man. You shoot me again, though. Fucking super sled your fucking face. It's on, dude. It's on. Get back here. You little bitch. Where's he at? Oh, Flatwoods Monster's gonna get fucked up if I ever hit him. Get your ass crippled. Get your ass crippled. Get over here. I wasn't even doing nothing to you. You came out of nowhere at me. This is your fault. Fuck back over here. Something else I feel like is shooting. Oh! Motherfucker healed himself. He is stunning my... Trying to fuck with me. I'm gonna take the garbage that you had on you, dude. That was weak sauce. Anywho, I wasn't even fucking with him. I was like, I'm gonna walk away, dude. You walk away, I'll walk away. We'll both walk away. We'll walk away together. Nope. Look at this motherfucker. He ain't got no damn legs. He's just like a little floaty thing. I don't think he's a Zayden. I wish I could see his fucking face. Anywho, guys, there you go. I've killed everything but a Mothman that I can think of. Fucking Flatwood asshole. Come rolling up on me. What is going on with my armor, though? What is it that... oh, it's my light, probably. Man, okay. What the hell was I even... What were we talking about? Talking about the U.S., I think. Hey, Count, is there a time check? Is there any way we can do a time check? Because I don't remember when I started. I want to say I started at 2:45-ish. But, I have no way of confirming that. So yeah, any help with that would be great, mod. Um, but anywho, so world is balls, 100%. What have we found? Oh, this is Fred's barbecue. I was actually aiming for that building, but I guess because I saw this Big Fred barbecue shack, I'd build a city here. I'd build a small settlement around that. I bet that's just his house. Oh, it's fucking foxes, man. Alright. I ain't gonna fuck with them because they ain't fucking with me. I mean, they fuck with me, though. Dead. I'll take that clown hat just because I can. Really? Alright, guys, so, parental. Call again. I'll go ahead and hide in this fucking. Where can I hide? That'll be here. Alright, guys, I'll be right back. Give me just a moment. Alright. Back. You took it out? Okay. But, anywho. So the, you know, U.S. is real bad off. These foxes make me worried. But so we start pushing for coconut oil. I'll take that. So we start pushing to try to get people to be more willing, I guess would be the proper term, to like contribute to the war effort. So that plastic one. So we are really pushing for people to join the war effort, to contribute, and our character from number 4 is actually a war veteran. If you look into it like any, really, you'll find out that at the beginning when they talk about what is that thing called? He was going to like a talk. He was going to do a talk at some ceremony. And when you look into it, you find out that he was like a war veteran. Like it's such a brief mention. Okay, I'll take that creepy teddy bear. It was such a brief mention that it was super easy to miss. but they do come back later. There's a like a veteran of foreign wars building that when you go into, you can actually find that your character, your character was listed on there as having, like he was supposed to be there for a speech. Essentially, there's a weird green tint to everything after I've been attacked. Do I have something? Did he give me some sort of disease or some bullshit? I don't know what's going on. Why is this a thing? Why am I glowing? Well, whatever. I'm sure it's detrimental to me in some form or fashion, so tall glass of whatever. Anywho, so we, there's a farm up here. So we, we've talked about U.S., China, how they were able to keep the people of the U.S. so willing to partake in the war effort, and it's been a pretty interesting conversation. What I would like to do now is just change gears a little bit. While it is super interesting, that we have all that knowledge about what has happened. Like, we can trace a lot of things back. What I find, what are you? Okie dokie. Knock knock! Bitch ass. Low and angular. I'm sorry, you're right, that was a bad word. Oh god. I was not ready. I mean, I guess I kind of was, because that was down. There we go. But, the thing that I really love about the war is that there's also so much room for interpreting things that we never talk about. Like, we have cripple this. I should have known that there was more than one, but I did a dumb. Anywho, we're gonna go ahead and harvest all of this. Legendary axe, it looked like. 1 star. We are a little hurt. We're still glowing, so I don't know what the fuck that is. Yeah, the baby TOS. But the places that I would really love to see more about are places we never go, we never talk about, places that are just kind of an enigma for all intents and purposes. Like, what about Brazil? Now, I know one of the taglines that we see is that it's global nuclear annihilation, but is it really? Like, I know that, you know, some nukes probably landed in spots they weren't supposed to. Probably not from malicious intent, but just ignorance. You know, firing around without 100% knowing where it's going because you're panicking because they're firing missiles. Just, you know, a big clusterfuck of not good. But, like, what about these countries that, like, would have no reason to be shot at? And I'm sure that there's somebody out there who could try to make an argument that, like, oh, well, why would they limit to only shooting at actual targets? Like, there's many a reason why they would do that. One would be that, like, even though, like, everything's coming to an end, if you're hoping that the world continues long enough that you can continue to, like, operate as a country, you're gonna need at least one or two allies on your side. If you haphazardly fire nukes, you're not gonna make friends. Like, it's just not gonna happen. The people who might have been on your side probably won't be for long. Because, again, you're just over here firing into a crowd, essentially. And nobody's really going to support that guy. Okay. That's pretty much all for over here, isn't it? It's low enough that, like, I can't have my weapon out, but it's... or it's high enough I can't have my weapon out, but it was... Oh. Piece of silo code. Feral Ghoul Officer. Was he US or... And what's this guy? Oh, let's take a look. I don't believe he was. Yeah, he doesn't carry any insignia that would make me believe that he is a member of the United States military, so I'm going to assume he's not. But there's plenty of places that I still 100% in my heart believe were never hit with, like, nuclear holocaust. I genuinely believe that Brazil. What is this here? You died over here and you shouldn't have, because now your stuff is mine. Okay. We're heading, we're gonna go ahead and fast travel since we've been fucking running around over here. Down to Watoga. Right there. Watoga Station. Boop. But I would love to see what would happen to these other locations, like Australia, Japan, Russia, the rest of Africa, because if the Middle East was hit, I'm sure that whole area, like I'm sure Egypt, probably also caught some as well if they were just randomly firing. If it was more precise, then Egypt might actually still exist. It just kind of depends on where they define the Middle East in that particular, in this particular universe. But then, like, Brazil, like, there's a bunch of places that just we don't know anything about. Like, what about the Antarctic? I'm sure there's definitely research teams up there, having to deal with the Holocaust. And go ahead and pick me up some of these since I got a lot of those flowers. Picking up some of these cranberries and cranberry jam. But like, what would happen if 90% of the world is nuked, or even half? Well, more accurately, it would probably be half. China ate it. The U.S., EU, and or not the EU. Damn it. The European Commonwealths. Oh, it's that ticker thing. I was like, oh no, I hear something sneaking up on me. Oh, and there's a phone call.
Now displaying current stock. Ready to initiate trading. How can I assist you today? Ready to exchange items. Now displaying current stock. Ready to initiate trading. How can I assist you today?
Alright, I'm back. Sorry, everybody. That was a very unexpected phone call. But not an unwanted one. That was kind of nice. Anywho, yeah, don't know why I'm subscribed to myself, but I am apparently. It's a weird thing. I saw that I had one subscriber once, and I was like, I wonder who the fuck that is. Clicked it, and it was like, it's you, you jackass. And I was like, oh, okay. But, yeah, it was a good little bit of dead air. Unexpected. I seem to be popular today with like phone calls and other randomness. Anywho, I believe, let's see. Oh, well, look at that. Making sense of stuff. We didn't ask you to, but you did. How dare you make sense of any of this confusion. I don't want to kill the chicken. Or that chicken. Why are there so many chickens? Oh, there's a scorched. Alright, now he's dead. I'll take your stuff, buddy. Do you have anything else? Nope. Okay. Anywho, back to our original topic. So I will say that this stream has gone really well. I've had no disconnects, no server issues. Everything seems to be going really well. They had stuff on them, and then it turned to ash. Oh. Maybe not. Alright, we'll go back in there in a second. But, anywho. The world of Fallout. The Great War lasted only an hour, I believe is what it was. Because we just blew each other to shit. That was literally, there was nothing else besides that that caused it to be so short. It was just that the major powers that were at war were able to kill each other off with such like efficiency that this war lasted an hour. And I'm sure that hour was literally probably just a bunch of people screeching and trying to take cover, and just trying to get like out of the blast zone. I'm sure there was like once the nukes launched, there was really not a lot of genuine like fighting. I'm sure most of it turned into just a mad scramble toward a vault. I mean, I really don't blame people on that one. It's gonna be a long time before I'm able to use that. Go ahead and break it down. But so we're gonna go back to places I would love to see in the Fallout universe. And it's not even like, oh, I want this mythical land to exist. No, these are places that are exist right here, right now. And I just want to see what happens to them. I want to see what happened to Brazil, Japan. I want to see what happened to Australia, Antarctica. Like anywhere that we have not genuinely been told, hey, this thing happened here. Like if we haven't been told, I want to be told. I want to see it. Because we get two options. Either the tagline that it's like global nuclear war and like everything's fucking gone, which in that case we know what happens. Everything's gone. It's an irradiated wasteland. Which I will say, Appalachia is an irradiated wasteland. Um, Yet I would still say that, you. I would say that it actually fared really well when you compare it to a lot of other places that were hit with, like, bombs. Capital Wasteland, shit. The Boston Commonwealth, shit. So there are, like, plenty of places that turned out bad, and some that turned out well. I would like to see... I would like to see what happened. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. Everything's blown up. What kind of creatures, like... I want to see what kind of creatures come out of, like, the Amazon. Like, what the hell would come out of the rainforest? Like, what terrifying monstrosity would we be dealing with? And on a very real note, some of the beasts that could come out of such a scenario would be ridiculous. Like, they already have some crazy shit over there. Let's be real. They have things like, you know, giant bird-eating spiders. Like, these are legitimately gigantic spiders that weave huge webs in the treetops, like up in the canopies. They weave these massive treetops, webs, and they wait for birds. And a bird will fly into that. It can't get out. And this giant spider eats it. Like, I personally think spiders would just be an interesting thing to see in Fallout, because we've seen cave crickets. The crickets are kind of interesting, seeing as they started so small and got so big. Same with, like, rad scorpions. And I would just love to see some of the, like, some of the flora and fauna that we're not used to. I would just love that. Like, it would blow me away to be able to see. Well, I've only got one other fusion core. That's okay. I'm not using a lot of armor. But anacondas. Like, think of, like, an anaconda, or like some other, like, you know, massive like animal, like something that's already big, like anacondas, pythons, things like that. Like, I would love to see those mutated. Ooh, excuse me. But yeah, I would just love to see those mutated, evolved, changed. Let's see, that's Wavy Willards. I wanna go over this one to the Hellion Hotel. See what's over that way. But there would be some really cool things that they could do. I would also genuinely love to see more marine life. I know I've harped on this several times before, because it's a thing that's always interesting to me. If you go into Fallout, you will see things like fish and other things like that. Where my house is currently located, there's actually a bunch of fish there. So I have a bunch of, like, dead fish by where I live. What is that, I wonder? Glowing Red Roach, where are you at? I do not see him. It's pretending like he's right there. But you know, we do have stuff in our world that's like, hey, fish exist. These kind of aquatic life do exist, and it's not like they all died off or anything either, because anglers are a... What are you doing over here, buddy? Okay, well, there's a grafted monster. I wonder if we can murder him from up here without him putting up too much of a fuck. Fight. He will be drawn to us because we are shooting him, but he essentially does not know where we are at. Oh god, I don't know why it shook like that. Wow. He is pissed off. He's over there. He's just taking shots like a champ, though. I'll give him that. He is hella confused. But, yeah. Killed a flatwood monster. Why not this guy? So... And that's if we're doing the, like, assuming the world is annihilated roll. If we don't assume the world was completely annihilated, what would happen in locations like that? Like, what happens in, you know, Brazil? What happens in Africa? Japan? Like, what would have gone down there? I would love to think that somewhere is a like Wakanda-esque like place, one that survived the war, was not missed a shot. Was not. Where the fuck did he go? Oh, he's gone far enough away that I can't see him now. This son of a bitch respawns. I'll be pissed. Can I not hit him? There we go. A lot more shooting now. But, who the fuck shot him? He shot him with a missile and murdered him. Damn it. Oh, it's that guy. Yeah, they don't know where I'm at, man. I keep getting, ×2 sneak attacks. But, ooh, man. This is... Oh, wow. Okay. I call horseshit, y'all fuck spawned out of there. Okay. Let's see, well... Fucking grenade at me, too. What a dick. But yeah, so if the world is not messed up, if it's not all jacked to hell, like, that would be amazing to see. I want to see, like, Wakanda. Like, just off in the damn distance. Like, I feel like something like that would be amazing. Like, here's this country that did not have any real, like, worries for 200 years. Oh, why are you fucking back? I'm overweight now. Okay. I understand how to jump. You don't. Oh, fuck. Okay. Well, I'm calling bullshit on him coming back. Let's hit him with some bullshit like this. Where the fuck is he at? Is he under me? I can fucking hear him. Making gross ass noises. I think he is. He's here. Shit, he knows how this works. Fuck. I got screwed. Fucking hell. Alright, well, we are a little distracted now. Okay. Whoop, I crippled myself. Go ahead. Pop one of those, fix my damn arms. I wish I could get up on here. I don't seem to be able to. Oh shit, I didn't even reload because I got hit. Okay, okay. Now one more of these. Broke my legs. Cool. I'm on fire. This is not what I signed up for. I'll tell you now. Where's he at? He's still over here. Well, so sorry that our conversation about I think of the world has come to a halt. But okay. That did nothing to him. Christ. This is annoying, I'll tell you what, man. Alright, level up while intoxicated or in a group. Not in a group, so I must be drunk. Okay. Well, that sucked. But, got the XP from him twice. I'm sure the other one is nowhere I can get it. But, talking about marine life, we just saw a fish noggin. That's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. Like, there was a fish head right there. Clearly, there were fish. There was a super prepared redneck in here, man. I mean, not that prepared. He didn't put 50 cal ammo with it, but he had a fitty. So, anywho, I would love to see more marine life. I feel like that has been one of the most missed opportunities. And it's not even just that it's a missed opportunity. We've never seen them. Blah blah blah. I'm whiny. Um, it's a missed opportunity because uh, they have talked about it. They have actually talked about um, the um, they've talked about like ghoulified marine life before. This used to be a golf course, man. This is ridiculous. In Fallout 4, we're actually we're given a small story. Hopefully, there was something just dying. We're given a small story. It's not even directed at us. It is two NPCs talking. So I guess to a degree, it could also be considered like something you could ignore, because it is, again, two NPCs talking to each other. Oh, is this the original one that I killed? It was! Yes! Oh, I got all the shit from both of them. Oh, that turned out so well. But we hear... see something moving over there? Oh, yeah, there. Okay. But so, we hear two NPCs talking about how one of them, their father, used to, or their grandfather is who it was actually. Their grandfather used to be a fisher. So their grandfather was this mariner who goes out, who is just fishing not that far from the coast. To our understanding, he's not that far from the coast. He, one day, is sitting out there. He's just kind of chilling, fishing, not really doing anything out of the ordinary, and he hears something. So, of course, he starts looking around, wondering what he's heard, what is this, and it doesn't take long. Oh, come on. Shit, it's gonna... Ah, they hit the plate. So sad. But so he hears, you know... Oh, nice. He hears this noise. And so he's like, I wonder what that is. He's like looking around for it. And then, from the water, bursts a ghoulified whale. Now, of course, you could probably take that, you know, small grain of salt, because let's be real, not everything in the world is 100%. If somebody says, I saw this happened for realsies, like, say, alright, and then kind of assume that, like, it could or could not have happened. But so, anywho, we get this story about this girl's grandfather finding a ghoulified whale. It's not like he was hunting for it or anything, of course. It's not like he was looking for any of it, of course. It was just, you know, it was just a thing that, like, came about. So, if there are ghoulified things like that out there, like whales, like, that would be amazing. That would actually, like, if there really were ghoulified whales out there, that would lend more credence to the everything is nuked side of the spectrum than, like, most things were nuked. Because you would need an immense amount of radiation to really to keep the water irradiated long enough to affect, like, the marine life. Lakes and things like that would get a lot more than say an ocean, but it would be similar in concept. So we have this story of this nuke whale out there, and I would like to hope that it's real. Like there really is a ghoul whale out there. Maybe not ghoul. I'm not sure how that would work, but
What a great day to shoot 18 holes. Golf holes, that is. Not bullet holes.
all right. You know what? Are you doing something, buddy?
I'm the grill master here at Hemlock Holes. You can have your meat well done or extra well done. Your choice. Try one of our new rocket-propelled golf clubs. It's completely legal.
Rocket-propelled golf club. Okie dokie. Can't fuck with me. This is actually a workshop. I didn't even know there was a workshop over here. Look at this. We're finding out new shit all the time. But I think it would be super interesting to see more than just the kind of lackluster stuff that we've seen as of right now. Don't get me wrong, there's plenty of cool things in the universe now. I just personally feel like there could be more and should be more. Food, crystal, acid, water, gold. I guess crystal's not bad. I'll go to this workshop. But yeah, so I would just love to see more of the world explored beyond America. Like, yeah, that's awesome. Step right in it like a dipshit. There's a lot of acid here. But yeah, I just want to see more. I just want to see more track lighting. Cool. Defense, traps and turrets. That's what I wanted. But yeah, I just feel like we're kind of missing out on some like really good lore, some other things that could be added to the world. I feel like if we had something like a more, I know we had Far Harbor, and Far Harbor was like our that was like our water area. But I would like something more than that. Like, we do get a good bit of stuff that shows up. Far Harbor, it's amazing. I really enjoyed it. But there wasn't enough. Like, as cool as it was, there wasn't enough. Like, look at you. Love it. Let's see. Level 20. Let's get garbage. Alright. Keep breaking shit down. Be careful so we don't accidentally break down anything of merit, anything of value. I believe Far Harbor, while, that's a good question. For some reason, I want to say that there was some new stuff in Far Harbor, but at the same time, I also want to say that the new stuff that was in Far Harbor was, not like overly. It wasn't new in the fact that like we had never seen these before. It was new in the fact that like here's a variant of Deathclaw you've never seen, or you know, not Deathclaw, but like here's a variant of what were those goddamn things called? Mirelurk. Actually, you know what? Now that I think about it, I think we did have a few new ones. I think the hermit crabs were introduced in Far Harbor. They're not really sea life though. Now that I'm thinking about it. So yeah, I don't really believe we had any new sea life introduced. There are no water-based enemies. Like, oh fuck, rad scorpions. Can't tunnel in up here, can he? These guys too, like, that's not doing shit. But like, rad scorpions. Another thing that was like, what's he even over there doing? Legendary rad scorpion hunter. Wow. He just fucking. Oh, okay. These guys are kind of dicks, man. Well, these fucking guys are rough. Is he healing himself? I'm not 100% sure what his, Okay, let's see if we can't just cripple him. Ooh. Alright, there's one. See if we can't just, that fucking stinger, man. Alright. What did he get? 3 waves of these assholes, man. Okay, let's see. While we're waiting for that to kick back on, let's pull out our frag mine. We'll get that shotgun. Alright, I think we got most of the stuff we're gonna need. We'll pull the LMG out too. That little fucker didn't wait at all, did he? Motherfuck. Ooh. Son of a whore. Ah, I got one of their stingers. But yeah, like, think about it, man. This is what scorpions turned into. Gigantic assholes. Like, what do you think happened to, oh, this is the last wave, okay. Like, what do you think happened to, like, some of the sea life? Like, was that what they were called? Fog crawlers? Okay. Alright, let's try this out. Oh god. Wow, that's wonderful. Is it the only... There we go. He's not over there anymore. Yeah, that's... Oh, no, I want that one. He's gonna pop out near me, hopefully. I'm down here on the ground now. No. There he is. God damn. Rad scorpions are shitty. I thought they were bad in like the capital ways. Like Appalachian rad scorpions are fucking terrible. Oh, God, man. That was uncalled for, unwanted. Complete an event while intoxicated. I am just a drinker, I guess. Give me my stuff. I think I already had the plan for cigarette machine, so I'm gonna be a little sad. But yeah. Damn it, I do. Okay, that's fine. Check lighting. Oh, I didn't read my recipe earlier. But yeah, so... Son of a bitch. So yeah. Yeah. Yeah, fucking hell. That was unwanted. Uncalled for. But yeah. What the hell was I even? It'll come to me in a second. Just give me a moment to figure out what the fuck. Anywho, I think I remember now. Produces nuclear material. Sticky tar. I think we've got some sticky tar in here, so we'll just go ahead and break that down anyway. Yeah, like I feel like even though I would love to see Wakanda, I want to see like a Wakanda area, like probably more than anything else. But super real. I would love to. I would love to see like what marine life would be like. I want to see the. Let's see. This might be cool for sharks. It could potentially be interesting to see things like coral and such mutate, like some of the plants did in Honest Hearts and the cranberry bog. Yeah, so like, there's definitely 110% chance that a bunch of weird fucked up shit out there. Stuff that we've never seen, that we may never see. But I want to. I want to see it. Got my level up. Let me check that out. So what we got? Sizar. Okay. Try to look at all the new ones, and then we'll go on to, let's see, rad resistance. Gate 10, rad resistance. Oh, that's kind of nice. shit, animal friend. Aim your gun at any animal below your level for a 25% chance to pacify it. Yeah, that's the one we're gonna take. Chemist, you get double the quantity when you craft chems. Never craft chems, so that's fine. Max rank, max rank. Ammo smith, produce 40% more rounds when crafting ammunition. That'd be nice. But the ability to pacify animals, or a chance to pacify animals. Oh fuck, and there's starch genes. Less percent chance to mutate. From rads or from radaway to cure mutations. I don't rock mutations right now, so we're gonna go with not that one, it was charisma. Animal friend. Alright. So yeah. That's pretty good. Oh yeah, we're gonna go ahead and slap animal friend up there. Nice. Alright, I don't really care about this location. I was just exploring when all this happened. But yeah, could you imagine like a squid or really anything in that category would fit. Like if you had squids, because like pointing at one of the creatures here, the angler. Anglers are like deep sea dwelling fish. They have that light on their heads to attract prey. Like that's really all that is. That's all it does, is it attracts prey. So I find it interesting that something like that exists like out here on the mainland. Like, how did it get here? Saw lightning, but I didn't hear thunder, so the storm must be moving away. Oh yeah, Chris, that game already exists. Because Jason Bright was the Jason Bright was the one from New Vegas, right? He was the guy who was yeah, like he worked at the Ghouls. That's what I was trying to think of, and I just couldn't get their damn name. Civil War reenactor?
Hey, folks, it's your favorite tour guide, Dick Shale. Appalachia has several historical landmarks worth visiting while you're in the area. Today, I'd like to tell you about Philippi's Battlefield Cemetery, where the first land battle of the Civil War took place. Learn more about this important chapter in Appalachian history when West Virginia was still a part of Virginia. Make sure to stop by the museum to see all the authentic uniforms, weapons, and equipment actually used in the Civil War. We'll see you there.
What the fuck just fell out of the sky? And then that was like, yeah, that's kind of what I thought. It was like a bird poop kind of thing. Snapping turtles would definitely be terrifying. We only got a taste of like the wilderness in like Point Lookout, in this. So what I would love to see is I would love to see us go to like the bayou. like actually go to the bayou and like interact with the swamp life, snapping turtles, alligators, and not that shitty gator claw from what the fuck is this? Huh. Like Clancy Manor. Whoop. Hell up off me. Let me reload. Beat your asses in a second. Give me a second. Okay. With this bullshit. But yeah, like snapping turtles, gators, all manner of like fish that's like actually like, oh, could you imagine? So, one of the things that they could do, that's a thing that like is kind of a thing in real life, like giant catfish. Giant catfish that you would have to worry coming out of that goddamn ground and getting you. And I'm not talking about burrowing out like a fucking, whatever the hell those things are called. The rats, moles. The moles, that's what I was thinking of. I mean, like, on a real note, we've already run across something similar. The gator claws from Nuka World are genetically manipulated. So it wouldn't be so much of a stretch for them to just say like, oh yeah, okay, I'm confused. There's just a camera in here. Don't like it. Don't know what's up with it. Nuka-Cola. Now I'm back to being scared. Chef